Yo, what's up everybody? It is your man Roball back for another video. So in this video, as you can tell, I'm not really playing an anime game at the moment. This game's pretty cool. It's some flash game on Roblox. I'll link it down below if you guys want to play it. But this is not the topic of the video. This has a little bit to do with the video, but this is not the topic of the video. The topic of the video are some game ideas I have that I want to give to you guys. I've done this before. I've done some like top 5 anime games that Roblox needs and stuff like that. I'm not sure if I'll slap anime in the title. If I do, just keep in mind I'm prefacing this right now. There are quite a few things that I'm going to name that aren't anime. Some of them are just webtoons. Some of them are actually just comics. Some of them are actually just cartoons and stuff like that. They're games that I think could, actually, do pretty well on Roblox. I'm looking forward to seeing what people can do. Now, if you have a game idea, comment it down below, and I think I would love to read it, maybe make a video on those in the future if I ever develop them a little bit more. What you guys have said, so comment that down below and make sure you leave a like and subscribe, and let's get started. Now, the first game is going to be this. Now, hear me out. I've been talking about Invincible all over Twitter, but the reason being, I love superhero stuff. As you can tell on my channel, some of the older videos I've had that did pretty well have been superhero-based videos, like becoming Spider-Man, becoming the Flash. Now, if you ever watched Main's video where he became Miles Morales, that video idea spawned from him and I just talking about superheroes and how much we like them. That's how much him and I like superheroes, so it's pretty cool, having friends that like superheroes too. Make sure you guys, play some superhero games on Roblox. But here's the superhero game idea I have. Now, hear me out. I don't have like a concrete idea for everything, but for this idea, imagine the Cara Bros' Hero's Life. I believe that's what they called it. That game, if you've ever played it, that game was a pretty good game in my opinion. That was one of their best games in my opinion. The reason being, there was so much to do, so many things to fight, so many things to explore, so many powers, suits, capabilities to access, and gear, I think too. I was really looking forward to that game. That game died down, and it's understandable why it did. There were some copyright issues with music in the game, and that's when the Cara Bros first got a taste of copyright on Roblox and what they had to do to change it. So it made sense why they would stop, because they wanted to avoid any further, lawsuits or anything like that. So it was understandable. But the reason why I'm saying superhero game is because I can imagine a superhero game like a Marvel, DC, the Flash game, whatever, doing well. But the main thing I want to focus on is Invincible. I've been speaking about that a lot lately, and Invincible, I read the comic, guys, and I'm not gonna lie, that stuff is good. That stuff is really, really a good read. So what I'm gonna say here right now is, if someone's not making an Invincible game right now, if you're making an Invincible game, DM me on Twitter the link. I want to play it. I will literally give you pointers on how to make it better. Trust me. I will help you make your game 10 times better. I've done it for so many games already. I might as well make a list of games that I've helped a little bit before they release to help them get, like a little bit of, a boost on their release. I've really helped some games, if I'm being honest. But Invincible is the first game. Now, the reason why I'm saying Invincible is because I read the comic. I know how much world building and universe building they did in it. So I think there's a lot of potential in that. I think there's a lot of potential in a game, I would say functioning like a CC or more so closed testing at first. And the game is built around the players having powers and actually saving people and doing things and being villains and stuff like that. More so that than just, fighting NPCs forever. Now, there could be NPC bosses and stuff like that. I think that'll be pretty fun. Random events in the server. I think that'll be fun too. Oh, that's my clone right there. I thought that was a player following me. The reason being, I think Invincible's pretty straightforward. It's a superhero thing. It follows a lot of superhero tropes. So I recommend it to anybody that wants to do it. DM me about that too. But the next game is solo leveling. Now, I've made a video on solo leveling games on Roblox already, like one of them, I believe. And solo leveling is, in my opinion, the best manhwa in the world at the moment. I think it's very well made. I think it's very well written. I think it's super cool. Now, there are some other manhwa that I'm going to name, or webtoons that I'm going to name afterwards, that I think are actually pretty high up there too, but not at the level of solo leveling, in my opinion. Solo leveling, if you don't know how it works, it's basically about a kid that, is in a world where you go through dungeons and you clear them and you get loot and stuff like that, and he made a career out of himself, but he's like the lowest rank. But then he goes into a dungeon and he gets, everybody basically dies, he still lives, and he becomes powerful because the world becomes like a video game for him. So basically his life is a video game, and that's what solo leveling is, hence the title solo leveling, because he's leveling alone. It's pretty cool. I highly recommend reading it, guys. It's a very nice read. But let's go ahead and talk about the next stuff, because we've seen solo leveling, and one thing I want to say before I close that out, solo leveling games on Roblox, if you're going to make one, guys, don't make it so every dungeon is the same. Have some randomization with it, like A rank, B rank, C rank dungeons. Have like a few versions of the dungeon that are different maps and everything like that. Have some different mobs that could potentially spawn, loot items and everything too. don't just make it about upgrading. The last one I played was literally just about upgrading your items, and that was fun and all, but need to do more than just upgrading items. Now, the next thing is going to be Tower of God. I have actually yet to start Tower of God, but from what I've seen online and heard of it, I think it deserves a game, and there's actually a game in development right now. That's specifically why I wanted to talk about it on this video. There's a game in development right now, I believe by Yaya Fino, and it's a pretty cool Tower of God. I think there's a trailer out. You could probably search for it on Roblox or on YouTube for Roblox. But from what I've seen on the trailer, it looks really good. It's pretty well made. The combat looks really nice too. There's hoverboards and stuff too, so it looks pretty fun. I cannot wait to see what happens with that game. Now, the next thing I'm going to talk about is the webtoon games. These webtoon games, I'm going to lump them all together, and there's going to be another list of games that I lump up together too. These webtoon games include things like Tomb Raider King, Unordinary, God of High School, and Dice. Those are 4 webtoons I've read, or I guess manhwa as well. I can't really classify them as either or because I don't remember which each of them is. I know that Dice and God of High School and Unordinary are webtoons, but I'm not sure if Tomb Raider King is a webtoon. But when it comes to Tomb Raider King, that is basically about a character who returns to the past, and they know exactly what to do with these tombs that you raid. It's similar to Solo Leveling, but there's a bunch of items that are to do with mythology or myths and stories of ancient history. So there's things like Anubis, there's Set, there's a bunch of Egyptian god stuff, there's Greek god stuff, Roman stuff, a bunch of things for different civilizations that become special items that you can either conquer or convince to work with you, or buy outright and just work with them by paying money. I think it's really cool. It'd be a really cool system for a game to do that and just have fun with the whole tomb raiding system, and also being like the only person with this, item in the game. I forgot what the items are called. I believe they're called, it's not sacred treasures, I'm tripping. Oh, they're called relics. That's what they're called. They're called relics, and the relic users are the ones that, access them and everything like that. It's pretty cool. I highly recommend reading that too. I've been reading that right after I stopped reading Solo Leveling. Now, the next webtoon is Unordinary. That is basically a superhero one, but it's more grounded. Everyone's in high school, basically. It's a world where those kids have powers. I think more people have powers too outside of high school or middle school. I don't know which one they're in. I think it's high school. Most people have powers, blah, blah, blah. And if you have a really bad power, like a low rank power, you're kind of like bullied in school and stuff like that. And if you don't have a power, you're really bullied. I highly recommend reading that too. I think that game could be functioning really well if it's just like a combat game, school fighting and stuff like that. Basically, I think Snake Roll had a troll game where you do karate or whatever and you fight each other. Like that, just brawling each other would be really cool. Really cool, like a Ken Omega type of thing would be really fun for that, but with powers, Or I guess different types of powers. And then there's God of High School. That one's pretty straightforward. It's basically you can spawn as different races that have different abilities, find different, treasures around the world to use, similar to Tomb Raider King, but you kind of fight each other, fight bosses and everything too. And then I believe the last one was Dice, and Dice is pretty cool. I highly recommend reading Dice. Dice is basically about kids that have access to this dice that you can roll or whatever. And I think I can't remember too much. It's been a really long time since I've read it, but it's a really good read. But when you're reading Dice, I highly recommend just paying attention with sound on, because the sound in it is really cool. But Dice is basically abilities, and you can use Dice to get things in life, like become good looking, get money, I believe. I think it'd be pretty cool for a game to do that. You spawn in with random stats, random look, appearance, and everything. And then you can use the dice that you unlock in the game through fighting other players or gameplay and finding them, or events, and just have fun with it. I think that would be pretty cool. But the next thing I want to talk about is pretty standard anime. I think this game really needs another. I think this anime really needs another game. Excuse me. This anime is My Hero Academia. The reason I say this is because Heroes Ultimatum kind of died down. I believe they either got bought out or a new owner and new dev teams working on it. So I'm looking forward to that. But it doesn't mean that I'm only looking forward to that. I think there should be more My Hero Academia games. The reason why I'm okay with, devs all working on games that are the same in terms of the anime is because I want competition. I like competition. It actually makes me a better dev, so I think it makes other people better too. Competition really fuels me. I'm a really competitive person, as you might be able to tell. But it's really fun to be able to play a My Hero Academia game where you're not just spamming quirk abilities. That's what I really liked about Heroes Ultimatum. And I guess a lot of people really dislike that, but Heroes Ultimatum was almost completely balanced. I think there was a lot of overpowered things too, but it was pretty balanced in terms of the physical punch combat and stuff like that. I think it did really well on that, so I'm really hoping that the new devs on Heroes Ultimatum do a good job at keeping the M1 combat nice and not just making it a quirk spam game. Now, the second to last thing I want to talk about is a magic game, a fairy tale game, or a Magi game, whichever of the three. I really want a magic-based combat game where I can have fun spamming abilities. Now, I know I said with My Hero Academia I didn't want to spam abilities, but come on, it's magic games. If I'm playing a fairy tale game, I'm trying to spam fire dragon moves. I'm trying to spam iron dragon moves, you know, all that stuff. I'm not trying to just punch people, run away, use a move, run away, and stuff like that. I'm trying to have fun as a magician slash, you know, guild member and stuff like that, or wizard, I guess is what I should say. I think a fairy tale game is long overdue on Roblox. I think anyone who knows fairy tale can agree with me, especially people that have played fairy tale games on Roblox. I think a Magi game is long overdue. Magi is a great anime. Anybody that, you know, does YouTube on Roblox and watches anime, they should know that too. Magi is a great anime. Magi could do really well, similar to Tomb Raider King and similar to solo leveling in terms of raiding tombs and like dungeons and stuff like that to get the items. You meet up with the NPC that's like the genie or whatever it's called. I forgot what they're called, honestly. And then you have to make a pact with it, and you have to meet certain stat requirements or in-game characteristics slash, you know, gameplay things you've done. Like if you've killed someone in the game, you can't speak to this one because they're too good or something like that. They want positive morale, you know what I mean? I think stuff like that would be really cool. That would be really fun. And then a fairy tale game in general, just spamming abilities, having fun with my fire dragon magic or, you know, lightning dragon magic, all that stuff. I really want to play a fairy tale game, guys. It's really been a long time since a great fairy tale game has come out. The last good one that I truly remember is Fairy Tale Online Fighting. There have been very similar games to that, but I'm trying to look for something that differentiates, you know, not really the genre, but more so the topic of the anime, you know? The anime is great, but we need more fairy tale games, more Magi games coming to Roblox. And then the last game, this isn't an anime either, that's why I said I wasn't really doing animes, kind of cartoons as well, is Ben 10. Now, we've seen one Ben 10 game on Roblox, two, three, I think 3 or 4 that I think I remember. This Fabiox's Ben 10, the Sushi Walrus's Ben 10. Fabiox works on Deadly Sins with me, and then Sushi Walrus made Real Cool. There's their 2 Ben 10s. And then the final Ben 10 that I remember is Universal Ensemble or whatever. The devs for them were pretty cool for Universal Ensemble. And I think there's a JoJo game that has Ben 10 stuff or whatever. But I'm really wanting a Ben 10 sort of game. Not necessarily Ben 10 itself, where you have their aliens. To avoid copyright, you could basically have it so we're traveling to different dimensions or planets, and we have to, you know, help aliens or destroy civilizations and obtain their DNA by either killing enough of them or helping them to the point where they're like, okay, here's our DNA, you know? I think it'd be really, really fun to do something like that. A game where you're literally exploring, you're learning about civilizations other than Earth and stuff like that. I think that would be so much fun. It's a very large-scale project, though, so I doubt anyone will ever do it. And if you guys ever do any of these game ideas, comment down below or tweet me or, you know, DM me on Twitter. I usually read my DMs on Twitter, but I don't respond because if you DM me something stupid, you're never getting a response. I'm just saying that right now. But just keep in mind, guys, I'm looking forward to any of these type of games. If you make any of these games, I will try to record a video. It depends on how good the game is, of course, and if you're a great person as well. I usually don't record videos on games of people that are actually bad people and stuff like that. I don't know if you guys have realized that. That's kind of why, like, I don't play certain games on YouTube. But that is actually pretty much it for the video, guys. If you did enjoy the video, do me a favor, leave a like on the video, subscribe if you're brand new to the channel as well. I would greatly appreciate it. I think that's pretty much all I have to say, though. I had some other ideas that I forgot about. Like, I wanted to explain the mechanics of the games a little bit more, but I think me just saying the idea of the game and saying a little bit about it, like saying it's a combat game and stuff like that, I think that helps. And I don't want to make the video over 20 minutes or anything like that. So if you guys did enjoy the video, do me a favor, leave a like on the video. Subscribe if you're brand new to the channel as well. Put the post notifications on, so ring that bell. And comment down below any ideas you have, your favorite idea I've said so far. And, you know, just give me your opinion. But till then, it's been your man Roball. I'm signing out now. See you all in the next video. Take care, everybody.